Well, hello guys. Welcome to another episode of It's Steven Time. I'm your host, Steven Alexander. In today's episode, I have Miss Brenda Scarborough from the Clarksville Montgomery County School System here to discuss the importance of education and much more. So stay tuned. You're watching IST.
There's a Steven Show, the Steven Show, the Steven Show, yeah.
Education is a vital thing for our society. Most importantly, education is a great way for us to expand our knowledge by helping us to be more well-rounded. Here to discuss education within the Montgomery County School System is Miss Brenda Scarborough. So how are you today, Miss Brenda?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for coming today.
My pleasure.
So can you tell us your position with the Montgomery County School System?
Yes, I'm the Career Technical Education Career Counselor.
Okay. So what does that job entail? Like, what do you do?
I work with all the career technical education programs in the district, from health science, communications, carpentry. I handle a lot of the state data that we have to do. I organize and manage the 8th grade career expiration day and also help with the carpentry competition that we do.
Okay. So how long has the expiration day? Because you're here to talk about the 8th grade expiration day event, which is a great event for the Montgomery County School System. So how has that event taking place, and what is the purpose of the event?
Well, the event started actually here at Austin Peay, was where I first had it
Wow.
at the Red Barn. It was November of 2010, and at that time it was a one-day event. We outgrew the Red Barn and had to move to the Wilma Rudolph Event Center, and it went from being a one-day event to a two-day event. The importance of the event is to help students understand the connection between the world of work and how that relates to the high school courses that they take when they transition to the high schools.
Right. So why do you think it's so vital for 8th graders to understand the transition between from junior high to high school? Because it is a big transition. And why do you think it's important for them to understand that?
Well, I think it's important because they need to understand how the courses are going to help them, whether they're going to go straight to work when they get out of high school, or whether they're going to go to a technical school, community college, or a four-year. Part of the event that I work on helps the students get to meet the teachers that we have at the high schools, the principals at the high schools, and trying to make it a smooth transition so they're familiar with people when they actually walk into the building the first time.
Yeah, for sure. How has the event, I guess, given back to the Montgomery County School System and just students within the Montgomery County School System?
Well, it's helped the community, the business and industry realize the programs that we do have in the district and the skills that the students graduate with when they walk out across the stage. We've come up with new business partners. We've come up with more business and industry connected to our advisory committees that we have to have for each of our programs.
Okay. So you guys focus on 8th graders,
Yes,
specifically. My question to you is, I know 8th graders are a vital thing, but you think of seniors too, like 12th graders as well. So why specifically are, I guess, the Montgomery County School System so focused on 8th graders? Because I know seniors, like, they're graduating, they're like, oh, what about a career fair for us? Do you guys have that for?
Well, for the first time, we plan in the spring of holding not necessarily a career fair, but a hiring fair.
Okay.
To where we're going to invite business and industry in who's looking for employees and invite the seniors to come dressed for success with their resumes to interview for actual positions.
Okay. So with the 8th graders, how do you guys kind of prepare them? Like, do you guys tell them about the importance of dress code, conducting themselves in a certain way? What do you guys kind of instill into them?
Well, the district has a program that's called Naviance, and the students go through and take an interest inventory so they can get an idea of what career clusters that they're interested in. We've prepared a packet this year for them to actually match career clusters with the definitions, and then to also match the programs of study with the courses, tie it all together in one bundle. It gives them a chance to prepare for the interview booklet that they'll see next, and inside the interview booklet, the first page talks about dress for success, be polite, look them in the eye, shake hands, and be professional and polite.
And why do you think that's so important? Because like a lot of students don't really understand, even like in college, people still don't grasp that aspect. And I think it's really nice that you guys try to prepare students at such a young age about professionalism and conducting yourself in a certain kind of way, because people look for that when you're getting a job. When you get to college, people look for that. That's a part of being professional. So why do you feel like that should be instilled into young students so early?
Well, it's something that business and industry is crying for. We've got it set in some of the schools and some of the classes. The teacher greets them at the door. They have to shake their hand, greet them correctly, be polite. And in instilling that habit, it's going to help them when we do like the hiring day for the seniors, to help them be ready to go out into the world of work. They also need it when they come to college.
Yes.
And a lot of them don't make the connection between both college and going out into work. Those same skills apply to college.
Yes, they do. They really do. I kind of want to ask about the companies and the vendors that you guys have that come to the 8th grade Exploration Day event. How do you guys pick those people? Like, where is this a bunch of people? I've been there.
Yes.
So how do you guys pick the people?
Since I've been doing it for so long, I keep my emails from previous years, and I have a registration form, and I send it out to all of my emails that I had from the previous probably 2 or 3 years. The military always supports the event. They usually have anywhere from 8 to 9 military specialist programs that come in and talk to the kids about their programs. So it's never the same group. I'm just glad when I walk in on the first day that everybody starts showing up and setting up their tables for the day.
And how does it make you feel like, it's like you're behind the scenes almost, but when you come before everyone and you see everything taking place, how does it make you feel to be a part of that?
Well, I'm humbled because it's so nice for the community and for my teachers that I invite in to be at the event, for them to take the time out of their days to spend the time with these 8th grade students.
Would you say, from listening to that, because that was very powerful, would you say that this event just gives hope for students and teachers? And if so, how?
It does. There was a conference I used to attend, and there was a senior who talked about when she was in 8th grade that she made no connection to high school at all. And the study from her conversation was that that's where our first dropouts come from. Not if the 8th grade students cannot make some sort of connection, even it's with one student that's up there, one of the principals, then they have a risk of dropping out of school.
Wow, I never knew that. Never knew that. Wow, so that's
why I focus on 8th graders.
Right.
I want that transition to be smooth. I want them to be comfortable. I want them to know that there are people in the high schools that will help them. All they have to do is ask.
Right. So how would you say that this event has just made an impact on, I guess, parents within the community with their students, you know?
I've had parents come to the event with students, and they go around the tables and they talk to everybody, and then the next group they go to is the colleges or the financial aid person. You know, you need to talk to these people and get familiar with the process to get financial aid. So the parents appreciate the fact that we take the time to do such an event for their kids.
Right. So what is it that you want your students to take away from this event? Because it is very educational. You're learning, and it can be fun too, because you get to navigate what you like and what you don't like. But what is the moral behind this, and what you want students to take away from this when they look back, when they get to be my age?
I want them to hope that what they did in 8th grade helped guide them to where they ended up, that they found that connection early instead of just kind of floating around for years before they find where they're happy. Yeah. My goal is that when I work with them, I tell them, I go, you want to be happy every day you go to work. You want to like your job, because if you do, then you never work.
Right.
You want to be happy for more than just the paycheck.
That's right. That is the truth. Well, Miss Brenda, we'll have more with Miss Brenda when we return, but you guys stay tuned. You're watching IST.
You can help support Austin Peay students who don't have enough to eat by donating to the Save Our Students Food Pantry. The Save Our Students Food Pantry is looking for soup, pasta, canned meat, canned beans, peanut butter, and fruit. You can drop off your donations at the food pantry on Home Avenue. It's open Tuesdays through Friday, 8:30 until 4. For more information, call 221-1620, a campus reminder from Austin Peay.
I'm from Clarksville, Tennessee.
Fort Knox, Kentucky.
Jackson, Tennessee.
Hopkinsville, Kentucky.
Memphis, Tennessee.
Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Knoxville, Tennessee.
Little Rock, Arkansas.
St. Louis, Missouri.
Gaffney, South Carolina. Seattle, Washington.
Jeremy, Haiti.
I'm from Três Pontas, Brazil.
Chicago, Illinois.
Hawaii.
Phoenix, Arizona.
Braselton, Georgia.
From Modesto, California. I want to be a neonatal nurse.
An athletic trainer and accountant.
Playing the NFL.
An interior designer.
Physical therapist.
Law enforcement officer.
Ultrasound technician.
Social worker.
Physician.
Politician.
Psychologist.
CPA.
Be a social worker.
Nurse practitioner.
Physical therapist.
Restaurant owner.
A politician.
Start my own business.
Veterinary.
Elementary school teacher.
The NBA player.
Cardiovascular surgeon.
Anesthesiologist.
Businesswoman in Nashville.
Social worker in Miami, Florida.
Politician in Washington, D.C.
Colorado.
Orlando, Florida. Houston, Texas.
In Chattanooga.
Memphis, Tennessee.
Seattle, Washington.
Nashville, Tennessee.
San Diego, California.
Nashville, Tennessee.
New York City, New York.
San Diego, California.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Nashville.
Los Angeles, California.
New York, New York.
Memphis, Tennessee.
Nashville, Tennessee.
Orlando, Florida.
Los Angeles, California.
Baltimore, Maryland. Clarksville, Tennessee.
Carolina Beach, Carolina.
Philadelphia.
St. Louis, Missouri.
Clarksville, Tennessee.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Stephen Alexander. I have Miss Brenda Scarborough here with me from the Montgomery County School System. And now we're going to kind of transition into education and why education is so important. And why do you feel like that your influence on students to achieve and strive for the best is so important with education?
Well, the goal for our students is for them to be able to graduate high school, be prepared for whatever their focus is when they graduate, and understanding all of the connections that are out there for them.
So when it pertains to the students, what do you find has been the biggest challenge pertaining to educating them? Like, what do you find like they're kind of not comfortable with?
Well, students learn in different ways. Mm-hmm. You have some that can pick up a textbook and basically go through it and teach themselves and learn the material. You have other students who it's better for them to do hands-on, never see a textbook. And in the career technical education classes, that's a lot of what goes on. They rarely see a textbook. We have programs where it's online, it's interactive, where they watch videos instead of just seeing a picture, and it gets them more involved in their learning process.
See, I like that because nowadays students, they learn different ways. Mm-hmm. And even when I was growing up, it was the same way, but it was only one way. No one saw it as different ways. So why do you feel that it's so important for teachers to understand and also parents to understand that students learn in different ways? And how is it that we can accommodate it? How can we accommodate that? Because one student, like you said, they might be able to read a book. Another student might be able to listen to the book and get something totally different. But we have to understand that each student is different, like you said.
Exactly. The first start for the students to be able to have the differentiated learning is the teachers building relationships. If you have a solid relationship with the students, you can teach them anything. And that's the first thing we work on, or I work on with the career technical education teachers. Build that positive relationship. With the academic teachers, they usually see the student 1 year. And the next year they move on to a different English teacher or a different math teacher, science. In the career technical education world, they have that teacher for 4 years. And they build that positive relationship. The students will graduate and get a job, and they'll come back to their teacher and say, hey, thank you.
Yeah.
This is where I'm at now. If I can help your program with anything, let me know.
Yeah.
And they give back to the school system after that.
So it's all about, in a way, it's like, when you think about it, it's like a teacher's involved with the student's life. They're giving. Then the student graduates and he or she comes back and gives again. So it's a give and take, but it continues to grow, which is a beautiful thing when you think about it. I kind of want to talk about now parenting and why parents should be so involved in their education, in their students' education. Because like for me, my mom has always been involved with my education, sometimes more involved than I have. Because she would be on it, she'd be like, oh, so how was this, you had an assignment today, how'd you do on that assignment? I did well, Mom, I did really good. Did you? So, you know what I'm saying, why should parents be like that with their students' success?
Well, the students need to know that the parents care and they're willing to be involved with everything that goes on with the student's life. Sitting down and having a 10-minute conversation, hey, how was your day? Do you have anything going on that I need to help with, or meetings or schedules? And be a positive influence in their life. Being able to talk to the students that it's more than just going to college.
Yes.
You can come out of high school into a very lucrative career without any college debt, and be able to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
So getting the parents to be that positive influence, to make that real strong connection to the students, to let them know that they do care about what's going on in their life.
Do you think the positive influence from parents helps stem those students who have that influence? Do you feel like it helps stem them to be better? Do you feel like it does?
It does. With the support in place at home, the student knows that any problems that comes up, they have their parents to rely on to help support them, and they also know with the relationship with the teachers that they have the teachers to help support them.
Right. So how can students who have no support at all, like they're not close with their teacher, they have no support at home, how can they strive for the best if they don't know what it's like, if they don't know what the best is, they don't know how to experience that? And being in 8th grade, they don't get those skills yet. They're not mature in that area yet. How can they learn?
The school system has multiple layers of support for students like that. Between all of our title, we have our special ed department. We have a homeless liaison person that works with the families and the students who are homeless to put supports into place for them also. The counselors, anybody in the school will step up and help a student.
Okay. So why would you say teacher and student engagement is so important for a child's success?
If you go to class as a student and you don't like that teacher, the odds of you learning are reduced. If you have a positive relationship with that teacher, then you feel comfortable going up and say, hey, I really didn't understand what this was. Can you help explain it to me? Instead of struggling and then falling more and more behind.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Ms. Brenda, thank you. We'll be right back with more of you. We're going to discuss a great topic coming up next. You guys stay tuned with us. You're watching IST.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self. And I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
Welcome back. It's time for us to get in the zone. Today's topic is about education beyond expectations. And for Ms. Brenda, why do you think teachers should strive to go above and beyond when it pertains to a child's education? What influence do you think this makes on the child?
The teachers going above and beyond, a lot of them will remember what it was like when they were in school, making the student feel comfortable in class, you know, picking up that student who feels like they don't have any hope or any success. The goal with the teachers is to teach them that they can change their life, where they're living at, their current conditions, but first they have to get the education that we're providing them in schools.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because, you know, for me, like for my life, I've had some amazing teachers and I've had some not so amazing teachers. I just like the fact of when you have a great teacher and they go above and beyond, it's like they're putting themselves on the line. Like they're not thinking about themselves, they're thinking about you and your education. So I can think about some amazing teachers like from my high school, like Miss Christy Owens, if you're watching, I love you. Miss Jennifer Lawson Mayo, Miss Chair, everybody. The line goes on. Miss Carmen Ortiz, all of you guys just influence us as students at Joe Burns. And now that I'm older, I can understand that. And like, I think it's very important for students to realize that in the moment, it might seem like, why is this teacher so adamant about my success? Why do they care so much? But now when you get older and as you age, you will look back and understand why. And those are qualifications of a great teacher. And for those who don't have those qualifications, please pick up on it, because how you treat your student, how you engage with the parent, it shows that you care. And it's going to bring you farther in success with reaching students, opposed to just kind of being standoffish. Yeah. So I just had to say that. And I also kind of want to know, why is it important for students to want to seek more knowledge? And when it pertains to education, because students also have to have the initiative to want more, to seek more. So how can students do that, and why should they do that?
People are constantly being educated, no matter how old they are. And students thinking that, well, once I'm done with high school or whatever training I'm going to have, well, I'm done learning. It's really not the right focus for them. They need to realize that everybody is a lifelong learner. Even at my age, I'm still learning things to help me do my job better. And so having the teachers to support them that way, to say, hey, I'm still learning too. I'm going to training to help make what I teach in the classroom better for you.
Yeah. And it kind of makes me think too, like, education is so vital because, like you said, you never are too old to stop growing and learning. Because, I mean, at that point, why are you still living? Because you want to expand your knowledge, you want to grow. Because, like, now I'm in my 20s. I want to know more information when I'm in my 40s. And then when I get to my 60s, when I get to my 80s, and I'm 100, if I'm still living by 100. But still, I want to know more information. And I think it's also, too, it's within the person, like, you have to want to know more, not just the surface information.
And as you grow older, and the thing that really helps with the students is you have important information to share with the younger generation. I mean, sometimes they act like they don't want it, but once you can make a connection with them, they realize it's like, wow, I didn't have any idea that that's what goes on.
Right, right. And also, too, I kind of want to talk to, like, students about the importance of students watching. This is not just for 8th graders, this is for people on campus as well, and anybody watching the show right now. You never shrink in the presence of others, in the words of Nelson Mandela. You never do so, because when you do that, you're allowing yourself to, number one, say that, hey, I'm not good enough, or I am not deserving of. So when it comes to education, that's why I feel like it's so important for that. And I've been around some educators in my life. My grandmother was an educator here. She was an educator here for almost 30 years. She was a professor in the biology department, Dr. Wildine Burton. So if you know her, that's my girl, that's my granny. But she has, I was not born during the time she was in school, but I saw how she tried to reach so many college students. And I know that she had to get her BS degree, and she had to get her master's degree, and she had to get her doctoral degree. And the BS that she had to go through to get any of those degrees to stand here and teach students, that says a lot. And it brought a smile on her face to be able to reach students. So I think, that's why I think education is important, because in a way you're giving back. You're giving back.
You are.
You know, it's like you're gaining knowledge and you're giving it right back. So lastly, I have a question for you. I just want to know, how can having an overachieving attitude when it pertains to being educated benefit the success within that? Because with having an overachieving attitude, and even in times where it's like, I don't know if I can do this, I'm just going to have a great attitude right now. How can that help you win?
So you're talking about a positive attitude about everything. It's part of the glass half full, glass half empty. And a student that has that kind of an attitude never gives up. They ask questions. They go to the library. They look at other resources. They're not just satisfied with what's being taught in the classroom, so they go above and beyond. And then once they do that, they also come back and they share it with other students in the class, so they help bring them up.
Right.
Peer mentoring.
Yeah. Well, one question I didn't ask you, before we go, I want to know, can you tell us where the event is going to take place? I know where it's going to be, but for those who are watching and they don't know.
The 8th grade Career Exploration Day is held at the Wilma Rudolph Event Center, November 20th and 21st this year. Okay. From approximately 7 to 1 o'clock.
Okay.
And we have 7 middle schools that attend on a travel schedule that rotates the schools in and out one at a time.
Okay, and it's at the Wilma
Rudolph Event Center.
Okay, okay, perfect, perfect. Well, guys, thank you for tuning in today. This was very helpful information. Ms. Brenda, I thank you for your time and the impact that you're trying to make and that you are making on students within the Montgomery County school system. So keep doing your job, keep doing it well. Thank you. And guys, thank you for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed the show. I will see you guys next week with more news and entertainment. And always remember to, let's go Peay.